I want to tell you about my son Daniel's wedding. It was in August, a few years ago, and it took place in a country park hotel, which was in the middle of the Welsh Valleys. We got up in the morning. The weather wasn't very good. It was cloudy. The sun was trying to come out, but it was fairly cloudy. When everybody arrived, we went in to a room which they converted into a little chapel for the wedding. And there were a lot of us, so it was very, very cramped and very hot. We all waited, and after a little while, the bride arrived. And she looked wonderful. She was an amazing outfit. She had a very beautiful brocade top, bodice, with a lovely full gold skirt, which was very unusual. And my son was wearing a very smart suit. It was grey, and he had a very colourful tie, but it was a beautiful suit, and he's got wonderful golden red hair, so they looked lovely together. And that was all very nice. We came out and we waited for the photographer. He spent a very, very long time taking photographs. There were group photographs, her family, then our family, then all families together. We were all longing for a drink. Eventually, we went inside for the wedding breakfast. And at the top table, there was my son, Daniel, and Janine, his bride, and myself and my husband on one side, Janine's parents on the other side, and the baby, the grandchild, who also sat on the top table, which was fine, and of course the best man. Janine's father, he gave the first speech. He talked about, in marriage, you have to give and take, which we thought was quite profound. Then the best man, Gabriel, he got up and he gave a wonderful speech. After the speeches and the wedding breakfast, we came out. This time, the weather was better now. The sun was starting to shine. And we all stood about for a little while. Then we changed for the evening disco, which took place in the same room. Daniel's London friends were dancing and having a good time. Unfortunately, the Welsh people all sat and watched because they didn't drink. And they just sat and watched us, and we were a bit embarrassed at first, but after a few drinks we just enjoyed ourselves. And also, I danced with the bride's father, Roy, who was very nice, but my husband refused to dance with the bride's mother because he said she was so very miserable. At one point, both my children got up and danced with my mother, their granny, and she really loved that. And then we went back outside, and I said to Mummy, I really think, Mummy, it's 2 o'clock. You must go to bed. And she said, no, darling, you go to bed. I'll be fine. But I did put her to bed, and all of us eventually got to bed at about 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was a terrific day.
I was at a wedding a few years ago. It was the wedding of Andrew and Kyoko, two people I didn't know particularly well, but I'm a friend of Andrew's brother, and he'd asked me to come along and take some photographs. It was a lovely summer's day in this lovely town called Marlow in Buckinghamshire. And they got married in a little church called St. Peter's, which is connected to the school where Andrew used to go when he was a little boy. The service And the rest of the day really was very traditional. Andrew wore tails, as is the tradition, and a waistcoat, and Kyoko wore a long white dress with a train which her bridesmaid carried for her. And after the service, they were standing outside the church for a while people took photographs. In every possible combination, you have bride plus groom, plus groom's parents, then with the bride's parents, then with the best man, then with the bridesmaids, and this usually goes on for hours and went on for quite a while. And then we went along to the reception at a hotel called the Complete Angler in Marlow. We stood on the grass by the river outside the hotel and just drank champagne for hours, which was wonderful. It just seemed to be a never-ending supply, and although I didn't know a great many people there, an awful lot of people I think took it as a chance to see people they hadn't seen for a while, and it was a lot of fun. Typical sort of English setting by the river, and boats going past and birds. It was really, really lovely. Later on, we went into the dining room of the hotel to have our meal, and everyone took their places. And then when the bride and groom came in, the best man stood up and asked that we all be upstanding for the bride and groom.
Honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen, can I pray rise, be upstanding? For your bride and groom.
And they came in with their bridesmaids looking wonderful, and they sat down, and then we proceeded with the meal, which was a wonderful 3 or 4 course affair. Salmon, beef, fruit, sorbet, cheese, coffee, the works. Then after much eating and much drinking and the speeches, we had a bit of a dance, and it went on well into the evening, and the bride and groom left eventually to go off to their honeymoon in Venice. I think they went the next day, and many of us carried on well after they'd gone. And it was a truly wonderful day for everyone concerned, really. Very, very memorable.
Well, I kind of felt it's coming, so I got prepared. I knew I would say yes.
If I think a few years ago as to what sort of a girl I might have imagined marrying, then Kyoko is definitely that person.